It was Cinco de Mayo celebration night at Berlin Raceway, along with Budweiser Super Late Models, Engine Pro Super Stocks, Model Coverall Modifieds, Good Humor Mini Wedges, and the Vintage Racing Organization of America. Up first, it was the Modifieds. Kevin Degood shoots in front of Zach Clark early on in the race, and he never looked back, and Kevin Degood would make it 2 wins in a row in the Model Coverall Modifieds. Degood was followed by Josh Fry, Zach Clark, Billy Eppink, and Chad Clark. Engine Pro Super Stocks were up next, and Mike Speak spins it in turns 1 and 2. Fantastic save and keeps it off the wall, and he would be able to continue. Nick DeLongpre shoots in front of Rob Shoemaker at lap number 2. Then a 3-wide battle. Dave Hart, Brian Tillema, Shoemaker. They all make contact. Shoemaker hard into the turn 3 wall. Car would be damaged, and Rob would be done for the night. At lap number 10, Scotty Root in front of Nick DeLongpre. Root stayed there up until lap 23 when Brian Tillema shot in front of him with just 2 laps to go. He never looked back, and he would find his way to the victory lane over Scott Root, Brian Wiersma, Nick DeLongpre, and Dave Hart. Super late models in action with Brian Campbell in the number 47. Once again, fast time. Ben Welch and Tom Thomas make a little contact. Then at lap number 7, Terry Van Heitzman, Ben Welch tangle. Both cars would be damaged and done for the night at lap number 7. Then just 2 laps later, Dave Lake, Lee Van Dyke, Lauren Bush, and others all tangle in turns 3 and 4. More heavily damaged cars, several would also be done for the night. Brian Campbell shoots to the front at lap number 11. Ken Wabma spins, gets a little contact with Evan Shotko at lap number 13 and turn number 3. And David Fretz, with just a few laps to go, spins right in front of the leader on the max stretch, Brian Campbell. Thankfully, both drivers would be able to continue, and from there, it was all Brian Campbell. Fast time over Chris Kozlik, Jordan Doke, Tom Thomas, and Scott Thomas. The VROAs were up next. Rob Parker starts from the front. Randy Pearson smoke out of the car. He'd get the black flag at lap number 3. Then just 2 laps later, Rob Parker, he also has smoke and black flag from the race as well. Joe Maisie, the number 55, the longtime Berlin racer, he shoots to the lead at lap number 7. Gene First, another car up in smoke at lap number 13, blows the motor. Red flag conditions for about 10 minutes as the cleanup continued. Tom Boorsma, another car up in smoke at lap number 18 and turn number 3, and that would set up a win for Ryan Boorsma, taking his 2nd win ever at Berlin Raceway after a great battle with Joe Maisie and others on the final lap. Ryan Boorsma takes the win over Jason Burris, Todd Cowan, and Brian Bukeman. And the kids were up next. It was time for the mini wedges to take to the track. In the 6 to 9 division, Eddie Beight was your winner. And the 10 to 14 division, Kameron Verplank, both victorious on Cinco de Mayo. And it being double feature night, the Modifieds were back at it. This time would be a different winner. Kevin Degood would have to settle for 4th this time. Chad Clark and Dave Davin on some great races. And Billy Eppink shot to the front at lap number 4, and that was all she wrote. Congratulations to Billy Eppink over Josh Fry, Chad Clark, Kevin Degood, and Zach Clark in the 2nd feature for the Model Coverall Modifieds. The Engine Pro Super Stock feature race number 2 was up next, and the question could be, would we have a repeat winner with Brian Tillema? At lap number 7, some great side-by-side battles, including a 3-way battle. Joe Moody, Scott Root, Brian Tillema, contacts made. Scott Root and Joe Moody around, the others go around on the front stretch. Unfortunately, some of those cars would not be able to continue. More great battles at lap number 10. Brian Tillema, Tyler Sturkin, Denny Anderson, Dave Hart all taking shots at the front, but when it was all said and done, Tillema came from near the rear all the way up front to make it 2 in a row over Dave Hart, Tyler Sturkin, Bob Bliss, and Denny Anderson. As the 2nd feature rolled off for the super late models this time, the question was Brian Campbell going to be just as good in the first race as he was the 2nd? We're about to find out. Ken Wabma, Chris Anthony started the front row. Chris Kozlik would lead up until lap number 10, but then it was all Brian Campbell. He hadn't lost a beat to the front, and he stayed there for the remainder of the 25 laps to make it 2 in a row in the super late models. Chris Kozlik would be 2nd, followed by Jordan Dalkey, Tom Thomas, and Dave Lake squeezed out a top 5 finish after damage. And the final race of the night, the Vintage Modifieds VROA feature race number 2. Would we have another repeat winner? The answer would be yes. A fantastic battle up front between the top 5 drivers, including Brian Bukeman, Rob Parker, Jason Burris, Joe Maisie, all going at it, but it was again Ryan Boorsma from the front row. He held them all off, hard charging for a fantastic finish for the Vintage Modifieds feature race number 2. Up next week at Berlin, it's the Mother's Day celebration presented by Engine Pro, the must-see racing sprints. Visit Berlin for the first time. In addition, with the modified, sportsman, and 4-cylinders, and all ladies get in free. Look forward to seeing you next week. All the details online, the fastest place on the internet, berlinraceway.com.